Hello, New Jersey, and good morning, Albuquerque. On today's show, we're revisiting two of the most binge-tastic TV shows ever that would change the face of entertainment and of Gus Fring forever. It's Breaking Bad versus The Sopranos. In one quarter, you have a drug kingpin dealing with health issues while trying to protect his family. In the other quarter is a mob kingpin dealing with health issues while trying to protect his family. Walter White and Tony Soprano, they might have been great business partners. Skyler and Carmela could have been BFFs, and maybe Walt Jr. takes Meadow to prom. Who knows?
You're born to this shit. You are what you are.
While each program has tons of prequel material in the works, unfortunately no crossover series is imminent. Thus, it's my duty to determine one and only one winner for the crown of Best in Show. Wait, dogs? No, sorry, just Best Show. Here's how we'll decide a victor. Round 1, Tomatometer. Round 2, Popularity. Round 3, Characters. And then I'll do a wild card round to help take care of that thing.
The gabagool.
Get ready for tons of tracksuits, RVs, gold chains, and 99% pure blue methamphetamine. The breakfast of champions. Let's get this thing going.
I'm the motherfucking one who calls the shots.
Tread lightly.
Round 1, Tomatometer. Way back in 1999, when Peter Gibbons and Initech were frantically updating software for Y2K, David Chase created a little mob show to air on HBO, the cable network that was famous for showing movies and The Larry Sanders Show. Once The Sopranos hit, television would never be the same, and the critics fell in love right from the get-go. The show debuted with a 100% first season on the Tomatometer, and it would go on to boast seasons at least in the 90s all the way until its final bow, Season 6, which collected 89% and 83% for its two parts. All told, the show averaged 92%, which is definitely good enough to get Meadow into Brown, and more importantly, it gives its competition a huge standard to live up to.
Yeah, you must have been at the top of your fucking class.
Breaking Bad creator Vince Gilligan launched the show on AMC in 2008, and the pilot was famous for having the Seinfeld dentist running around the desert in his tighty whities. Season 1 started to gather critical acclaim, and by its end, it could boast an 86% on the Tomatometer for its debut. Each new season brought more eyeballs and praise, with seasons 3 and 4 landing a perfect 100% each time, and its fifth and final season wrapped things up with a 97%. That all makes for a 96% average. And for funsies, the Netflix continuation of Jesse Pinkman's story, El Camino, has a 95% on the Tomatometer, and prequel series Better Call Saul currently has an average of 96%. That is some impressive television.
Yeah, Mr. White. Yes, science.
Well, we're still waiting on that Sopranos prequel film, so let's just see how the two shows themselves stack up. 96% for Breaking Bad, 92% for The Sopranos, but The Sopranos does score bonus points by paving the way for shows like Breaking Bad to even exist. But it does appear that critics felt the drug show stuck the landing a little bit more and gave us a more satisfying conclusion than the mob show. Fair enough. With a combined 4 seasons at 100% on the Tomatometer, virtually every other TV drama, or any artistic endeavor for that matter, is looking up at both The Sopranos and Breaking Bad. But if only one show can take the round 1 win, I gotta lean towards the one that had a steady rise to the top and stayed there. Breaking Bad nailed the dismount and goes up 1-0.
You clearly don't know who you're talking to, so let me clue you in. I am not in danger, Skyler. I am the danger. A guy opens his door and gets shot, and you think that of me? No. I am the one who knocks.
Round number 2, Popularity. Considered two of the best shows ever, I'm not sure Breaking Bad and The Sopranos even have competition post-2000. Right, Peter Griffin?
Breaking Bad is the best show I've ever seen, except maybe The Wire.
Okay, well, Baltimore exploits aside, audiences have been hooked on these two programs, and the ratings certainly reflect that. The Sopranos opened up with an average of almost 11 million viewers per episode for its first season, and it got close to those gaudy numbers again in its third season. The final season averaged 8.63 million viewers, with the final episode having 11.9 million live viewers, which means 11.8 million people immediately called the cable company afterwards to complain that their TV went out during the biggest moment in television history. Breaking Bad and its AMC viewership can't compete pound for pound with the HBO digits, as every season averaged 1 to 2 million viewers per episode until season 5, which pulled in 4.23 million average views. And although an impressive 10.28 million folks watched the series finale live, then immediately were reminded what a great band Badfinger was, the overall series average viewers gives The Sopranos a decisive advantage, 8 million to 2 million.
You know, Quasimodo predicted all this.
Momentum is with Tony, Paulie, Silvio, and the gang, but what did audiences think after watching these shows? They liked it. They really, really dug it. It's virtually a tie, with the slightest of edges going to Breaking Bad, 98% to 97.8%. The best seasons for each show in terms of the audience score are 2 and 3 for The Sopranos and 3 and 5 for Breaking Bad. Here's the real nutty thing. Sopranos last had a new episode in 2007, and Breaking Bad said goodbye in 2013, yet both shows are still amongst the most binged shows today in 2030. What's that? Oh, it's only 2020. Feels like a decade.
Nice, huh?
If not for Breaking Bad, with a nice assist from The Walking Dead, I'm not sure AMC would be making original content today. And even though HBO has had so many popular shows, movies, and miniseries since, check out HBO Go's front page. Oh wait, it's the freaking Sopranos! They know where their bread is buttered, and it's still in the swamps of Jersey. Better ratings and a super competitive audience score give The Sopranos the win in this round, and hopefully that satisfies Tony until next week, when I promise I'll have the rest of the money. Round 3, characters. Folks, not only do I host this show, I also get to write it, which is fun. I'm clearly great at it, as the Pulitzers behind me are going to tell you. But it's rounds like this where I really thank my lucky stars that I have the experts at Rotten Tomatoes to research these shows and provide me with facts to come out of my mouth.
Yeah, bitch! Magnets!
The Sopranos and Breaking Bad each have had more characters than Springfield and Shelbyville combined, and to comb through all of them is not only a huge task, it can also damage Cilio's coif. It's beautiful. So let's start with our protagonists, anti-heroes, outright bad humans, however you want to classify them. Tony Soprano and Walter White are the modern archetypes of characters we begin the show wanting and even expecting to root for, and then we just hold on to dear life as they continue to descend deeper into darkness, violence, and questionable attire. Assisted by genre-evolving writing, James Gandolfini and Bryan Cranston so brilliantly played these parts that whether you hung on their side until the end, you jumped ship, you pulled for them to meet their demise at the next turn, or you just stayed in the middle, like Malcolm.
What the fuck is the matter with you?
You were always compelled to keep watching. We had to see what happened next, and whether it was a kind moment of compassion for a loved one or a heinous act we just couldn't believe really happened, it was great entertainment.
Jesse, you asked me if I was in the meth business or the money business. Neither. I'm in the empire business.
And while they may never be considered the most lovable of TV dads, they are fathers and had families to look after.
The leaf, you friggin' idiot.
Edie Falco and Anna Gunn deserve so much praise for embodying the role of a strong partner that accepts their husband's flaws and life choices to a point. Once we reach that, and once the hubby goes too far, they're the moral conscience we desperately look for some semblance of sanity. The kids also give us hope for a better tomorrow, even as we see signs that their parents' behavior may be steering them down a path of debatable moral fiber. RJ Mitty as Walt Jr. is phenomenal for being able to center his father and bring out the good in him more than anyone else. Maybe we should ditch the Jr. and change it to Skywalker? Meadow and Tony Jr. quickly catch on to exactly what their pappy does in the world of waste management, and a continuously intriguing subplot is how much that is going to affect their own behavior.
I'm in the waste management business. Everybody immediately assumes you're mobbed up.
With each new season, and episode for that matter, audiences were introduced to a seemingly endless crop of allies, enemies, allies that became enemies, enemies that became allies, and some straight-up psychopaths. Tony's crew of Paulie, Silvio, and Michael formed a core of believable mob goodfellas who could alternately provide moments of levity and in the next scene shock us with their ultra-violent brutality. But it was inside a therapist's office that Anthony was most introspective, courtesy of the note-perfect Lorraine Bracco as Dr. Melfi. Meanwhile, Breaking Bad set up former student Jesse Pinkman as the perfect foil for Walt and a character capable of carrying entire episodes and storylines. He really came a long way from the original ending for season 1 when Vince Gilligan was going to plan to kill him off. Imagine if we only got one season's worth of yo bitches.
Roll me further, bitch.
The longer The Sopranos ran, the more we got big guest stars and meaningful roles. How about the addition of Joey Pants, Steve Buscemi, even the appearance of a young Jon Favreau directing? See, this show was so transcendental, it practically booked him the directing gig for Iron Man. I wouldn't want to be home when the wise guys come collecting their percentage of that movie.
Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
But if both shows are capable of giving us reluctant evil against outright evil, it's Breaking Bad that gave us the devilishly entertaining and calculating persona of Gustavo Fring. Not only is his cold, emotionless presence haunting and captivating, how delicious does that Los Pollos Hermanos restaurant look? Are they competing with Popeyes for the best chicken sandwich? I'd like answers on this. Looking out for the bad guys is Hank, the affable everyman whose desire for justice and occasional need for reading material on the can prove more and more an inconvenience for Sir Heisenberg. We've had the privilege of seeing some side characters get more fleshed out in Better Call Saul, not the least of which is the show's namesake, Saul Goodman. His role got bigger and bigger on Breaking Bad as the seasons progressed, and just personally, I will never stop laughing at the time he convinced a date that he was Kevin Costner.
You are not Kevin Costner.
I was last night.
There's tons of important players for both teams, and to choose one side over the other when it comes to characters, it's a fool's errand. I'm just the guy for the job. And in a race this close, when I really can't decide one show over the other, I'm forced to go to the smallest margins possible. Which show had a cameo from Van Halen legend David Lee Roth playing poker? It was The Sopranos, and they get the win in round 3 by the skin of their teeth. Might as well jump, Tony's crew. You're up 2-1.
Jesus Christ, am I such an ogre? I was just gonna say he's a nice guy. I salute.
And now it's time for the wild card round, most iconic. And you thought the character round was jam-packed. The Sopranos and Breaking Bad have had so many iconic moments while we were watching their initial runs, and then when you go back and watch again, some events that seemed insignificant at the time loom even larger today. It's the mark of a great show where you can go back, revisit, and glean new insight even though you know what the ultimate outcome is. Since The Sopranos landed on our TV sets first, yeah kids, back then we called them sets, and Circuit City had a great deal on a 35-incher. Let's take a walk down memory lane. We clearly weren't prepared for the carnage that was to follow once we saw a peaceful Tony feeding ducks in his pool at the outset of the show. And nothing could have prepared us for Silvio ending Adriana's life. Wow, say it ain't so, little Stevie. Even the wax we expected to have emotional value, Big Pussy had it coming for a while, but it's still a gut punch when it all goes down. Even the near deaths are heart-wrenching. Literally, Dr. Melfi's heart attack, Michael getting bamboozled by those two nitwits, any number of passing out moments from Tony, and especially AJ's suicide attempt. Yikes. These and so many more moments run the gamut, from shocking to necessary, but after each one, as an audience, we feel emotionally spent. Breaking Bad, a show in part inspired by The Sopranos, has similar instances of twists, turns, and death. Walt standing by while a certain person dies is at the forefront of my mind, as is Danny Trejo's head on a turtle. Mike's speech about no half measures is epic. Did I mention Mike, the character, in the other... My bad. Sorry, Mike. I'm sorry.
No more half measures, Walter.
Walt himself must have taken some public speaking classes because by the end of his run, he's given us some all-time lines like, "Say my name, I am the one who knocks," and "Tread lightly." He means business, while Nutbar Jesse just means pure, uncut evil.
Just tell me you don't give a shit about me, and it's either this, or you'll kill me the same way you killed Mike.
While we're talking about all-time memorable scenes, let's not forget that in terms of iconic, the shows themselves rank super high. No pun intended, Breaking Bad, on pretty much every best show ever list. Rolling Stone and The Guardians list both have The Sopranos at number 1 all time. Meanwhile, Empire and Ranker did lists that saw Breaking Bad hit the top of the charts. In terms of awards, both shows have won an exhausting amount. Like, By the end of each series' run, I bet the producers were actually tired of the rigmarole, getting up, walking on stage, lugging those heavy trophies around at after parties. Breaking Bad has won 151 awards, including 16 Emmys. Even more important was back in 2004, when The Sopranos became the first cable program to win the Emmy for Most Outstanding Drama. It would go on to garner 21 Emmy wins and 113 overall victories. Now it's commonplace for cable or streaming shows to populate their shelves with statues, and they all owe a debt of thanks to The Sopranos. And you better pay that debt back on time. Maybe most iconic of all would be the way each series said thank you, good night. Or in The Sopranos case, thank you, good... Audiences and Journey fans around the globe were left with their jaws on the floor when The Sopranos finally stopped believing in the middle of a scene. So much tension, so much going on all over the tri-state area, and it was about to come to a head when the lights simply went out and we faded to black. Fans and critics have debated the ending ever since, and while its merits may be in the eye of the beholder, nothing could spoil the Season 6 party that we had just experienced. Breaking Bad had a more definitive goodbye, as Walt, he finally got his comeuppance, and Jesse, well, he skirted away in an El Camino. Viewers likely appreciated this ending more, as many of those 10 million folks were included in the Venn diagram of Sopranos finale viewers who were left with a little less closure. Both shows are constantly referenced in all forms of pop culture, and each is revered as an all-time iconic television franchise. So when it comes down to it, I am going to give Breaking Bad credit for sticking the landing a little cleaner. Thank you for the inspiration, Sopranos, but for me, Breaking Bad wins the round, and we're tied at 2-2.
Yo, Gatorade me, bitch.
Well, if you're in either one of these shows, you definitely don't want to hear the term sudden death, but here we are. It's up to me to choose a winner, and to garner some insight to help aid my decision, I went bravely to the Twitterverse. In my very official Twitter poll, most fans went with Breaking Bad. However, in my replies, things got heated and appeared to end up with the Sopranos contingent at least being more vocal. Here's some Soprano comments, and Breaking Bad certainly had its share of diehards too. And then we had like 40 likes on a reply that was voting for Animaniacs. What's really great is we'll never stop wanting to express our opinions about which show is better because they're both so good and endlessly rewatchable. The Sopranos started out as a small series catering to fans of Goodfellas, and it became the godfather against which all other cable shows would be judged. Breaking Bad is just one of countless shows it inspired, and it also happens to be my pick for the winner in this match. That's right, Breaking Bad. The genius narrative of Vince Gilligan's storytelling, the cinematic shooting style, and inventive techniques set a new standard still unmatched since, and to be honest, its closest competitor is probably Better Call Saul. Rewatching The Sopranos has been a delight, and in my extended research for this debate, I found both shows littered with great standalone episodes, and they also work in service of the overall story. But we can only have one winner, and I'm taking Breaking Bad.
Yes! Hell yeah! Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes! Come on! Ah!
Maybe it's just because I'd rather end this show with a proper send-off and not just fade to black. Hope they don't do that to me. So until next time, I'm Mark Ellis, and I'm about to enter the Witness Protection Program. It's been fun, but now I'm a tennis instructor from Pasadena. Arrivederci!